Thank you, listeners, for joining us. Elko Live today is our regular update with the Terrace at Ruby View. Our active and senior lifestyle center director, Matt McCarty, is joining us in studio. And Matt, it's an especially critical time for some of our most vulnerable citizens because of these scorching temperatures. We have triple-digit heat. And, for someone who is fortunate to have an air-conditioned workplace or certainly a home, it's not that big of a deal. But there are a lot of folks on fixed incomes, Matt, that aren't be able to stay cool, correct?
Absolutely. And generally in a house that has at least a little bit of air conditioning, it's going to be okay. But what happens is people are afraid to open windows, and then it becomes stifling in there. And that's usually what kind of causes some problems, because it's usually not 110 degrees in your house, but without opening anything out, without trying to let some of that airflow come through, that's where I think it does become an issue. And so we do want to be careful with that with our seniors. We want to make sure that our seniors are aware of staying hydrated, drink plenty of fluids, because that's going to help, and make sure that they're not keeping the doors and windows closed up the entire time. There's got to be some movement of some air. And I love living where we do for multiple reasons, but our high altitude allows for us to have a drop in temperature overnight. And that's it. That's crucial. Open up the windows at night, let the building cool down, and then close it up as you get up in the morning and start moving around. So that is important. And then, because it is a fixed income, if you need help weatherizing your home for seniors, the RNDC, the Rural Nevada Development Corporation, does have options. And we want to make sure that folks are aware of those options. And it doesn't have to be, most people think weatherization of winterization. And that's not what they're looking at. They're saying that they can help with any weatherization, and they have grants for that. So we want to make sure that they can reach out, that our seniors or for anybody in rural Nevada can reach out to the RNDC and help on that. And I am finding that now I can't pull up that number, but we'll get that information here in just a bit, and we can get that information out, because it is an important program. We do have things that in rural Nevada that we need some assistance with sometimes. Again, one of the other reasons I love living here is because we are a little bit more independent, and we do kind of take care of ourselves and take care of our own. So the RNDC, you want to call Doreen Venturino, and she's down in Ely, and that number is 775-289-8159. That's the main RNDC number. And then Doreen is at extension 1110. And so they can help with things like heat. They can help with things like cold. If you do need winterization, they can help with that as well. But they can help with high winds. If there are things that have happened to your house because of high winds or high rains, heavy rains, then all of this the RNDC can start helping you with and give you ideas of how they can help and what can be done to make your safe, or your house, you're safe and a little bit more comfortable in your home.
Thanks, Matt, for the update. RNDC, Rural Nevada Development, and I think it's Corporation Rural.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those, there is some federal or state funding that's involved, but this is a way to distribute those funds equitably, and the money is there to be used for these purposes. So people should not hesitate to reach out for help because, just as you mentioned, this is a great community to live in. We like to be independent, but it's absolutely necessary that people who simply don't have enough money to, make these repairs or to create a more livable environment have these agencies to reach out for. So that's RNDC, and we'll be happy to provide that number outside the broadcast. I'll make sure the receptionist has that, and so folks can call us if they want, and we'll hand that out. Matt, thank you.
Absolutely. And of course, your Elko Senior Center is here to help as well, and we are happy to get that information as well and be a resource for direction. We can't be everything for all people, but we can hopefully point you in the right direction and give you some places to go to. And so you're also welcome to call the Senior Center at 775-738-3030. and we'd be happy to help you with this as well.
And Matt, speaking of the center, where you're serving lunch weekdays from 11:30 to 12:45, you're also open throughout the day, and it's a great place to meet and to stay cool.
It is, absolutely. And we find that particularly in the hot summer months and in the cold winter months, that we do have folks that come in and stay longer with us because they are trying to beat the heat or they're trying to stay warm. And we love that. We want people to come in. We're glad that they feel comfortable. We've got a wonderful library that folks can sit at, or we've got the big dining room. We have people that do laps around the dining room. So yeah, it is a community center that just caters towards the older populations.
Thanks, Matt McCarty. Matt is our director of the Terrace at Ruby View. As we're having our discussion today in the middle of this heat, we want to call it it's a heat dome. It's not exactly a wave, I guess, to be scientific, but we're kind of socked in this way, at least through the weekend and the first part of next week. So if you are listening and you do, live in a neighborhood where you can check on your elderly neighbors and friends, and if certainly your family, make sure that you do that. Make sure vulnerable people have a way to stay cool, Matt. So thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
So we know that the Terrace is also a hub for the senior games, which are coming. It's hard to believe it's already just a couple of weeks away.
It is, yeah. We are just a couple of weeks away. The senior games are going to be the end of the month, July 24th, 25th, 26th, and 27th. The 24th is when we're going to have our opening ceremonies, and so that's Wednesday the 24th, and that will be at the Terrace. That'll be at the Elko Senior Center. Opening ceremonies, if I recall correctly, are at 6 p.m., and we'll have a keynote speaker that will come in. We'll also have a presentation by the flag or the color guard. So we'll have a presenting of the colors by our local veterans Foreign Wars VFW Post 2350. So we're honored to have that, and so then we'll kick off the games, and then we have 3 days worth of fun and exciting competitions just for the fun of it. And it'll be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then we'll wrap up Saturday afternoon with a closing ceremony at the main city park. We have all kinds of events, indoor events, basketball and billiards, bowling, but we also have some outdoor events. The track and field events this year are going to be held out at Spring Creek High School, so we're really excited about that. We'll have cornhole, and the cornhole will be at the main city park this year. It has been in the past at the Southside Park, but we've moved it to the main city park because of the shade that the main city park offers. Last year, we were chasing the shadows, so we kept moving the boards of the cornhole as the sun was moving. Our shadows were moving, so hopefully at the main city park right behind the museum, there's plenty of shade, and we'll be able to keep folks comfortable there. And of course, we have the river walk, and we have bikes, both a criterium and an actual circuit, I guess is kind of how they do that. The pistol shoot is outside, so we're really excited for that. And this year, for the first year in a number of years, we've brought weightlifting back. So we're really pleased to partner up with Chuck Myers with Last Rep CrossFit, and he'll be running our weightlifting. So all of this takes so much volunteer time, everything. In fact, this is 100% volunteer run, volunteer organized, but every one of our events have volunteer coordinators.
The emphasis is on staying active, right, Matt? I mean, it's not about being the best athlete or even being an athlete at all. It's just about the engagement that, sort of being in charge of your body, whether it's just walking or participating in these games or doing some of the mental exercises too, and socializing.
That's right, yeah, because we do have brain games and Jeopardy as well, and those are held at the senior center, and that socialization aspect is part of that. We know that all healthy adults have a healthy social lifestyle, whether that's being able to talk to somebody over the phone, whether it's talking to somebody in person, whether it's even the Zoom or the Skype or that connection there with grandkids and loved ones across the country or across the world. A healthier social life leads to a healthier physical life and mental life. It's all wrapped together. So yes, the games should be a social aspect.
So whether you're an introvert and you know it, or you're an extrovert and you're just the center of attention, there is definitely a place for you at the Terrace at Ruby View, the Senior Center, and especially during these upcoming senior games, in which competition, well, it's friendly and it's mostly about the camaraderie, maybe trying out something new. I think, speaking of new, there's going to be pickleball, right?
Yeah, we have pickleball, and the pickleball has been there for quite a while now. Faye is our pickleball expert, and I believe she's also an ambassador at the national level through the Pickleball Association. So it's great to have so much expertise available to us here locally, and she does a wonderful job with the pickleball as well, keeping the courts and everything else going and keeping it organized.
We have some wonderful advocates for pickleball in the community. So come on out of all ages and support and cheer on the participants. The senior games are eligible for those who are 50 and older.
That's right. Yeah, the senior games are 50 and older, whereas most of our other stuff is a little bit higher age limit. But yeah, 50 and better for the senior games. So come out. And as you said, Lori, cheer them on. Just watch and observe. Or better yet, if you're 50 and better, join in. Just for the fun of it, we want to do that. And it's very, very moderately priced. There is a $20 registration fee. And then to participate in any event, it's only $2. And then for each additional event, it's just $2 an event. So it's really inexpensive.
That's fantastic. And if they still have some left, you generally get a very cool T-shirt. Those things, I see them all over town. So
That's
people
right.
are proud of their T-shirts.
And if I recall correctly, I think this year we're in purple.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, and purple goes well with all kinds of causes, so community causes. You'll have your purple shirt for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Registration is all online this year. We are not doing any paper registration, so you can register that at elkoseniorolympics.com, or again, stop by the senior center, give us a call. We can help you register. It's a very simple registration process. Very quick, put in some information, make sure that we have an emergency contact, select the events you want, hit go, and you're pretty much done. So it can be done in just a couple of minutes.
And that's nice too. You do have help, by the way. If you're a senior listening and saying, well, I'm not born digital and I'm not sure how to do, or I'm worried about signing up for things online because I don't want to get scammed, you can get actual physical help at the Terrace, because I've been there at lunch when there are some, say, I think there was a grandson in at the table that I was sitting at, and he was helping his grandfather to master some technology. They were surfing social media. They were having a great time, and that was a way that they could spend time together too. So.
Yes, absolutely. And that again goes back to, while we do cater more towards the older side of our population, it's a community center, and we want folks to know that they can come on up and join us for lunch, whether you know somebody there or not. I think we've got a pretty darn good lunch, and you can use the building as you need. Stay, as we said, stay cool, stay warm, come and socialize. And then we also rent the building for events, quinceañeras and birthdays, celebrations of life, weddings, baby showers, bridal showers. So we do have that ability to help the community in that regard as well.
It's a great, big, beautiful space, and it overlooks the community. It's got a terraced landscape that's a terrace with some landscaping, and it's a nice outdoor space too, Matt. And it really is. It's a very special place. And I just want to say, we don't always, acknowledge, but how much the center has grown, Matt. And I really think that you and your board of directors are you have amazing leadership and vision and care, and you really invite people. I mean, every time I get a newsletter, I say, wow, look at all the new members of the Terrace.
Yeah, it's so terrific to see that growth. And we don't always see those members come back every day, but knowing that they at least have that connection is good. And it gives them, again, another place for them to be able to come when they need to. And yes, our staff, our board are tremendously supportive of our senior community. We want folks to know that they're welcome there. And our board does a great job of being supportive of when the staff says, what about this? Or can we try this? Here's a different area. And we've been really blessed, and we've rebounded so well out of coming out of COVID. In fact, I just had a conversation with a lady yesterday, one of our members, and she moved here in, I think it was December of 2019. She and her daughter got sick. They moved from, I think, Minnesota, and she and her daughter got sick. They didn't know what it was. Turns out later, oh, hey, that's COVID. And then kind of the world shut down. So she had just moved here, didn't have any friends, was isolated, and really was quite lonely. And so as soon as we opened up, she thought, I'm going to try to go and see if I can, make new friends. And she's been coming back regularly since. And she said it truly is, it truly was a godsend for us to be able to be there and to have that ability for her to feel welcome and engaged into the community, because the world kind of shut down, and it was definitely hard on a lot of people, but I think it was hardest on our elderly population, because they were very vulnerable and they had a lot of caution and concern. Many of them did.
Well, Matt, thanks for reminding us of that. Again, the Terrace at Ruby View, a senior center, is also a really safe space. It's, there's not a partisan environment, but there's certainly an air of advocacy. So if you have an issue or a concern, maybe it's personal to you, or maybe it's a neighborhood or a group concern, it's a place where you can take those concerns, maybe find similar views. Even if someone doesn't share the similar view, what I've seen, Matt, is that you will still find support for whatever concern it is that you might have. It's an encouraging, supportive atmosphere.
Absolutely, and that's what we try to make sure exists, because we want folks to feel welcome, and there are people that they know, okay, that table's a little bit more political, maybe I won't go there, and but they still see them, they still stand next to them in line, and they still come in.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And it's more about neighborhood and community.
Absolutely, and not the divisiveness that I think unfortunately runs certainly the news cycle oftentimes, but even on social media and just around the country, I think there's just too much divisiveness sometimes, and this is a wonderful place, the Senior Center, to come together and be together.
Matt McCarty is the director of the Terrace at Ruby View, so hopefully you can find company, make friends, or just simply enjoy a meal if you would like a little more, downtime in a quiet, cool place. You can also find that if you need to, but the meals are served each weekday, and they're just amazing. We want to make sure that we also plug the big fundraisers that you have, because bingo is really how you can make a lot of money that doesn't have to be used specifically, right? Sort of a general fund, I guess, if you will.
That's right, yeah. Many grants or grantors are very specific on what they want to do, and that makes sense. They want to see the program succeed. Administrative costs, they don't want to pay, because they don't want to necessarily encourage overinflated wages or anything else along that line, and it's hard to see that direct result for many people, and that makes sense. We understand that. There are ways that we do find that we can make additional money, though, to supplement when we need to, and bingo is one of those great ways. We have bingo on Thursday night, so it'll be tomorrow night, and that's in Elko, and that'll be the doors open at 5 o'clock with the game starting around 5:30. Depends on how many people come in, how long it takes us to count how many tickets were sold, because what we do is 50% of the pot goes right back to the players. And we need to know how much that pot is so that we can see how much we're paying out. So sometimes that takes a little bit of time, but generally by about 20 to 6 or so, we're started and on our way. And then Typically, we play 6 games up front. We have 1 progressive bingo, and then we have our first 5 regular games. Then we go into an intermission where we sell hot dogs and nachos and chips and soda, and sometimes it's cinnamon rolls, sometimes it's cookies. But we try to have a sweet treat. Usually take about 45 minutes or so for folks to be able to take a break and eat and relax, and then we get back right into it. And usually everybody's home by 8 o'clock, 8:30.
Wow, that sounds like a fantastic night for bingo. So, and it can be competitive. It's for the 21 and over set, right?
It is.
Because you're playing for money. Yes.
That's right. Yeah. The Nevada Gaming Control Board has allowed us to have this fundraiser, this nonprofit fundraiser, and so because of that, it is 21 and over. And same thing out in Spring Creek. Spring Creek is typically the week after, so we'll do Spring Creek a week from tonight, actually. And in Spring Creek, we open the doors a little bit later to give folks coming in from town time to get out there. And it's at the Spring Creek Association boardroom. So they're at the golf course, which works out really well because then anybody can order from the club. And they can have dinner out there, or they can have some adult libations and be able to bring them in. The serving crew out there does an amazing job. They'll come into the room and deliver the food, deliver the drinks. So it's really nice. It's a good partnership. I love those partnerships, and we were able to develop those.
Yeah, speaking of partnerships, I mean, the Terrace does rely a lot on those relationships in the community. So get out and support bingo, both in Elko and Spring Creek, and know that you're supporting an amazing cause. And I want to make sure that we are getting to all the things on your list today, Matt. I know it's summertime, it's busy in one sense, but then in the other side, it's not as busy when we have a lot of holidays, people are vacationing, a lot of catch-up stuff.
Yes, absolutely. And I do want to focus on or mention another partnership. We're really pleased that we've been able to partner with the Nevada Department of Wildlife once again. So they'll be coming into the Senior Center next week. They'll be in on the 17th of July for an afternoon presentation. Shortly after lunch, I think they'll probably start about 1 o'clock, and they'll do a presentation on local animals and their skulls and their hides, and I think they might do footprints as well, and just ways to identify the locals when you're local animals, I should say, not the other locals, but and yeah. So when you're out, when it's maybe perhaps not triple digits outside, and you want to go for a hike, you can recognize some of our four-legged critter friends that are out there.
That's neat. And Endow, they're wonderful presenters, and they just bring a great collection of artifacts that you can examine firsthand. So again, that's a really nice thing to do, a nice outreach in the community, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always happy to partner with whomever we can, and we're really excited about that. One of the partnerships that we have, by the time our listeners hear this, it will be too late for this month, but the Northern Nevada Food Bank Produce on Wheels truck comes to the center once a month. And seniors can come up and they can get free produce, fresh produce that comes out of the Northern Nevada Food Bank warehouse, and they drive it up here so folks can get, sometimes, I think last time we had corn and bags of apples, I believe, and bell peppers and pineapples. So it's amazing that the different produce that they're able to bring up, and again, just give a little bit of a supplemental shot in the arm with some fresh produce that, because sometimes we're on fixed incomes, we may choose not to get fresh produce if it's more expensive, and we go with something that's a little less expensive but perhaps more heavily processed. So fresh produce is always going to be better, and what we can do to try to help that along, we'll do everything that we can. But again, another great partnership that we've been able to support our seniors with.
And I was just reading too, and we did a news story on this, Matt, that seniors are among the most vulnerable right now because we have seen some of those federal subsidies as a result of COVID. Now they have come to an end. And so, scaling back some of the programs like SNAP, the assistance programs. And so seniors, there's kind of a gap there where people may have been relying on that to get their groceries. And so there's going to be an even greater need going forward.
Absolutely. And we do see that. And we've seen it across the board. In fact, we're working right now at the Senior Center with the Elko Institute of Academic Achievement to try to provide their students with a hot lunch. And one of the things that is weighing on us is how can we do it affordably, because the subsidies that were available have been cut back tremendously. And in fact, on a per meal basis, it's almost $1 less than what we were able to see even a year ago. That's a significant impact when we're trying to provide a meal. In fact, I think I calculated the meal can be provided at no more than like $2.77 a meal. And that's really hard to be able to provide that in today's economy with the food costs and everything else. And so our seniors feel that as well. When they're trying to find an economical way to be able to get the nutritional requirements they need, that can be difficult. And we can't give all of the answers, but we can certainly help along those lines as well. We do offer a nutritional meal at the Senior Center every day for those that are 60 and better. There's no cost. It is a suggested donation of $3 if you come into the building. But if you can't pay that, we're not going to turn you away. We want folks to know that. And it's important that it's anybody 60 and better. You don't have to show us anything on your income levels. You don't have to prove anything. We're going to ask you for your name, your date of birth, a way to get a hold of you, and we'd like you to fill out some more information. But if you can give us the 3 things there, name, date of birth, and a way to get a hold of you, we can get you a meal.
Oh, Matt, that's great news. And again, we see changes in ideology and things that really underscore this in the country. And Matt, it's up to us to help provide, nutritious meals, not only for children, but for seniors. And we know that there are great organizations, churches and civic groups, and even families who can afford to, and businesses who are donating. But we all might need to step it up a little bit in the months to come.
Absolutely. In fact, we're getting ready to present our budget to the board at our board meeting next month, and we'll see where we are. We are dependent upon grants. We don't have enough of a nest egg to be able to draw only off of the interest. And that's a goal, a medium-term goal, maybe a long-term goal over the next 5 to 10 years, to be able to build up enough to be able to have an endowed account. But that takes, again, support from the community. We need to make sure that the community understands what the needs are. And so that's part of our job of communicating those needs. And then hopefully the community can step up and help us with that, because they've been so generous. We are very lucky to have the generosity that we have. The Nevada Gold Mines Heritage Fund, they have their employees that do a tremendous job for us and generously and willingly through their paycheck program are donating things and donating cash to us. I shouldn't say it's cash, but it goes to their donor program, and then in turn a check is distributed. And we have folks that do it through their own employer. Especially if there's a matching fund, similar to what the United Way was here. You don't have to work at Nevada Gold Mines in order to make donations to the senior center through your employer. Talk about what your employer offers for those type of charitable givings. And it's not just the senior center. We have so many wonderful nonprofits in the community. One of our board members is the executive director of Horizon Hospice. And that is a wonderfully compassionate group of people that deals with a very difficult time of life, but it's needed. We have people in the community that need that help, and these folks rely on donations as well. So many different community groups rely on donations. So yes, please do be supportive, be generous with where your money goes, and know that your people, your neighbors just across the street may need some help. And when you can give locally, I think it has a little bit more of an impact. We certainly need some of the national organizations, but locally is where we get the work done.
Matt, thanks for reminding us of that. I think a lot of people tend to think that public, the Terrace at Ruby View or any senior center is a public agency. While you do get some support, the building, maintenance, that kind of thing, it is also a nonprofit organization, as you mentioned. It was created that way so that we could invest in it as a community, so we could steer our own destiny.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's a good way of saying that, is that we can only be as successful as the community wants us to be. And without that community support, what we take that to mean then is, okay, the community is going in a different direction. So we want to make sure that we're communicating what the needs are, what the resources are that we can help with, what the benefit to the community we can do, and then hopefully we can do that well enough so that the community in turn sees that and can be supportive of us.
Well, how perfect for the month of July, because like everything else, independence is not free. We need to pony up.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Even a few dollars a month can make a huge difference, especially if more people contribute, whether, as Matt was saying, it's to the Elko Seniors, a nonprofit group, or any other of our numerous organizations that are so worthy. And justserve.org is a great website. We like to toss that out there every once in a while, because that's where you can go if you are a group or even an individual individual that maybe needs service or wants to provide service, because they aggregate everything.
They do. Yeah, they are a terrific resource that we utilize often. And you're right, both those who are in need and those who have something to give. Just Serve is a great place to go, as is the Northern Nevada Neighborhood Network. I got that wrong. Neighborhood Network of Northern Nevada. And N4 is how we refer to them. Miss Osler does a great job locally, and so we want to make sure that folks know that as well. They have this really cool volunteer bank where perhaps you can spend an hour mowing somebody's yard, but then you need maybe an hour worth of accounting help. And so somebody that is an accountant can then use the hour you put in the bank mowing someone's yard to then use that hour to help you with your accounting. So it's a really cool concept.
It sounds like we need to have Nancy Osler on the radio and talk about that.
That would be good.
I actually
and
haven't
it's
heard
actually
about
not
that.
Nancy, it's Kayla.
It's Kayla. Oh,
Yep.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It sounds like something Nancy would do.
It does. And Nancy's also actually our golf coordinator for our senior games.
Perfect. So shout
it worked out well.
It all works out. So we will reach out, and I think maybe I did meet Kayla at the volunteer fair at the museum. So see, now it's all coming back,
Yep.
Matt. So
yeah.
We have a lot going on, and most of it is good in our community. As long as I just saw the most perfect little meme thing, whatever you call it, about feeding which wolf you choose to feed. Are you going to feed the good wolf or the bad wolf? Because if you feed one wolf or the other will starve. So feed the good wolf.
Absolutely.
And then the bad wolf will starve.
There we are.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. We'll
and
do it. Yeah.
You can feed yourself after you feed the good wolf here at the senior center.
Perfect, Matt. Thank you so much. Matt McCarty from the Terrace at Ruby View. It's our active and senior lifestyle center, 1795 Ruby View Drive, elkoseniors.org, 775-738-3030. Do get signed up for the senior games. We're going to be talking more about that too. Did we get to everything today?
I think we did. Lori, thanks so much as always for allowing us on, for letting us share the good news, and we appreciate everything that you do for the community as well. And I hope everybody can stay cool and have a good, wonderful summer.